Today, we're diving into a topic that's been stirring up a lot of conversation lately: financial planners, and whether you really need them to secure your retirement. If you've ever felt frustrated by high fees, generic advice, or just the idea that no one cares about your money as much as you do, this video is for you. We're going to explore how you can take control of your own finances before and after retirement without relying on financial planners. I'll share practical steps, tools, and tips to help you manage your own situation, which financial planners will not tell you about. Before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Rob Bourne, and I'm a retired financial advisor now focused on helping people navigate the complexities of retirement planning, including superannuation, investments, and eligibility for the age pension. First, let's address the elephant in the room: why so many people are skeptical about financial planners. In the comments on many financial planning videos I've watched, a lot of you shared your frustrations. Common complaints include high fees that eat into your savings, generic cookie-cutter advice that doesn't consider your unique situation, conflicts of interest where planners push products that benefit them more than you. And let's be honest, some of you have had downright bad experiences. One person said their financial planner advised against buying shares that later skyrocketed in value. Others felt like they were being sold something rather than being guided. The biggest problem about financial planners is the restrictive laws governing what they can and cannot say when providing advice. That's why when you see a financial advisor, you end up with a 50-page report telling you what you already knew, with a note attached that the attached invoice is payable within 30 days. I know this is a fact because I worked for decades as a financial advisor, limited by restrictions placed by government laws on what advice licensed financial advisors can provide. The very restrictive nature of what advisors can tell you is mostly the result of bad apples in the financial planning industry, or unlicensed advisors scamming investors or providing unethical advice to unsuspecting people. So it's no surprise that many retirees are asking, can I just do this myself? The answer is yes, and I'm going to show you how. Now, let's talk about taking control of your own retirement planning. It's not complicated, and if you follow some basic steps, you'll be able to retire comfortably. The first step is to understand your retirement goals. For those of you who have used a financial planner to help with your finances or retirement planning, some of the most common questions you get is, when do you want to retire? And how much income do you want to retire on? What you're thinking is, I want to retire yesterday, and I want $1 million a year. But your tailored response is more along the lines of what your financial advisor is suggesting is possible. The real answer to these questions are, you will retire when you want to, and when you think you have enough saved up to support the lifestyle you want in retirement. The secret here is to live within your means. If you have a modest super balance of $200,000 and you want to buy a new caravan and truck to tow it around Australia for a few weeks every year, this may not be a practical way to spend your hard-earned money. Consider other options like hiring a caravan or even using Airbnb accommodation instead. Everyone's situation is different, and you don't need a financial advisor to tell you if you can afford to buy that $100,000 new caravan if you don't have the funds to do so. But you do need to have some idea of what you might need to live on in retirement, and there are some useful free tools available online to help you with this. Websites like MoneySmart offer excellent tools to estimate how much you'll need based on your current savings, superannuation, and lifestyle. When using these tools, remember to plan within your means is probably the best advice I would offer. When looking at your retirement options, consider looking outside of the box. If you're single, do you need to retire in Australia? Australia offers great work and income opportunities, but is an expensive option for retirement. The high cost of living in Australia is a reason why many retirees look at moving overseas, where the cost of living is nowhere near as much as it is in Australia. Also, if you are receiving the age pension, you can still receive this while living overseas, so check out this as a possible retirement option. If you're a couple, moving overseas is still an option. But if you want to stay at home to be near kids and grandkids, then look at options like downsizing your home to free up available cash to use for your retirement. The next step is don't ignore your superannuation. If you worked for a wage or salary, or even if you are self-employed, you most likely have superannuation, which is probably your biggest asset outside of your home, if you own one. Sure, super is complex and has many different rules, and is one of the main reasons people go to see financial planners because they do not understand what it is about. But you do know it's important, so take some time to understand it more. The biggest advantage of having superannuation is the potential tax savings on money that goes into your super compared to receiving that money directly. You can access up to 10% of your super when you turn 60 and still working, or all of it if you have retired. The best tool in most cases to learn about your super is the super fund itself. They will have an online website that will guide you through all the different options of making contributions, withdrawals, and investment options. Again, the Money Smart website is also a good tool to understand more about your super. When it comes to investment options within your super fund, most funds will manage your funds in a reasonable way without exposure to high-risk investments. Most super funds will also invest your funds according to your age and typical timeframes that you may need to access these funds. So, if you have already turned 60, you may find your super fund has automatically placed a portion of your funds into what they consider low-risk and low-return options like cash and term deposits, while the balance will still be exposed to investments like shares and property. Make sure you check this out to see if it aligns with your intended retirement plans of when and how much you think you'll need as an income or lump sum when you retire. If you're inclined to take a more active interest in investment options available within your super fund, then see if your fund also has low-cost index funds or ETFs, which may be a better option depending on your circumstances. Next, don't forget the age pension. The majority of financial advisors will typically steer you down the path of retiring with sufficient funds to be self-funded in retirement without the need for any support of the government's age pension. The reality is, around 63% of retirees over 67 are receiving a part or full age pension, and receiving it is not a sign of financial failure, but rather a reflection of Australia's social support system designed to ensure retirees can maintain a basic standard of living. It's a tool to supplement retirement income, not an indicator of poor planning or lack of success. Qualifying for the age pension seems like another complex area for most Australians, but for most, it just gets down to the level of income and assets you have in retirement. The best tool to use to understand the age pension is the Centrelink website called servicesaustralia.gov.au. Finally, let's have a look at some common mistakes people make when planning their retirement on their own. Underestimating expenses. Many retirees forget to account for rising healthcare costs or unexpected expenses. You may have had private medical insurance while you were working, but can you still afford it in retirement? Always build a buffer into your budget. Taking on too much risk. Chasing high returns can backfire. I witnessed this many times in my years of advising. Stick to a balanced, diversified portfolio that matches your risk tolerance. It does not mean avoiding investments in speculative or good investment tips you may receive, but do it in a way that aligns with your overall financial situation. Approach speculative investments or tips with caution, ensuring they represent only a small portion of your portfolio, so they don't jeopardize your long-term financial security. Ignoring tax implications. Understand how your investments and super withdrawals will be taxed. This can save you thousands over time. Failing to adjust over time. Your needs will change as you age. Review your plan regularly and make adjustments as needed. For the average Australian, using a financial advisor is neither affordable or necessary. Using a financial advisor may be warranted when you have a very complex financial situation like managing a business or large inheritance. They can also be useful if you are dealing with tax issues or estate planning. But here's the key. If you do decide to hire a financial planner, make sure they're independent and fee for service. This means they charge a flat fee for advice rather than earning commissions from selling products. At the end of the day, no one cares more about your money than you do. By educating yourself and using the right tools, you can take control of your retirement planning and feel confident about your future. Remember, retirement is about more than just money. It's about living the life you've worked so hard to build. So take charge, stay informed, and don't let anyone tell you that you can't do this on your own. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or want to share your own experiences, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're ready to take control of your retirement, hit that like button and subscribe for more tips on financial independence and retirement planning. Thanks for watching.